Tetteh Quarshie. What is it? Say it again.
Yeah, you good.
Okay, so
This one.
Yes, hello. You are welcome. So first of all, my name is Mercy. I'm having Michael also in the farm. And we are the workers here. So we are welcoming you to the very first cocoa farm in Ghana. That is Tetteh Quarshie Cocoa Farm. In a brief, you would like. So I hope you've all been to a cocoa farm before. Or this is our first time. This is our first time. Okay, so you are lucky to be the first ever cocoa farm in Ghana. That is Tetteh Quarshie Cocoa Farm. So we have a little bit of history. We are going to start with that. Afterwards, we take a walk to the farm to continue. So we have a picture out there. That is a portrait of the man Tetteh Quarshie. He was the first Ghanaian man who was able to introduce the cocoa to Ghana. He was a blacksmith by professional and also a gun, which means he comes from Accra. So in the early 1870s, Ghana was being colonized by the British. So we had a lot of people coming in from all over the nation. And a group of them were called the Basel missionaries. But over here in Ghana, we call them the Presbyterians. They came here purposely for work, and through the work, they took him as a worker. Alongside the work here in Ghana, they had a contract to travel to Fernando Po, which is currently located as Equatorial Guinea. That is where Tetteh Quarshie saw the plant that we Ghanaians, we mostly call it cocoa. But I learned the Spanish, we'll be calling it cacao. He had an interest in it and decided to bring some back to Ghana. But in those days, it wasn't allowed for him to travel with any planting material, like the cocoa from a different country back to his own country. So it was all through a smuggling process. And how did he smuggle the cocoa? In Ghana, there is a story being written about Tetteh Quarshie, and one of it says that he swallowed the cocoa beans. And when he came to Ghana, he visited the washroom, had the beans and began to plant, which is not true. Because in the olden days, there were no aeroplane for traveling. So if you're going to travel, it's either you walk or you take the ship through the sea. And Tetteh Quarshie came by the sea, which took him 6 good weeks. So let's assume he swallowed the cocoa beans, as they said. Is it possible that for the whole 6 weeks that he remained on the sea, he never visited the washroom? It's not possible. And even on the sea, whenever you go to the washroom, everything goes straight into the water. And you're not going to get the beans back to come and plant. In Ghana, we have a process called the fermentation process, and that is what makes our cocoa beans quality. It goes through heat. So the moment heat gets into contact with the beans, the nutrient dies. Therefore, when you plant them, they are not going to germinate. Looking at human beings, we also have heat in our stomach. So definitely, if he had swallowed the cocoa beans, they would have gotten fermented. And any fermented bean will never be germinated. So what he did is he managed to get 6 of the ripe cocoa pod. When they are yellow, you see them to be ripe. When they are green, they are not ripe. So he got 6 of the ripe ones, hid them in his tools box and covered it with the tools. But before he was allowed to enter the ship, he needed to go through inspection. And due to low technology, there were no scanning machines as we've gotten today to detect that cocoa was hidden under the tools. So what they did is to open the box, and they saw the metals being arranged nicely in it. Without thinking further that there is something hidden under it, they allowed him to enter the ship to make his journey back. So that is how he managed to introduce the cocoa to Ghana. Now we are in the eastern region, and Tetteh Quarshie is from Accra. So he had wanted to plant the cocoa in Accra, but realized that cocoa is not going to survive or do well in areas whereby the sun shines on them too high, and also a land that contains too much of salt. In Accra, it's very hot because of the way the sun is shining. And also due to where Tetteh Quarshie was residing, it's closer to the sea, and the sea is salty. So whenever he plants the seed there, they are not going to grow or germinate well. That is the reason why he came down to the eastern region, acquired himself a very good and fertile land for the plantation. And this particular land was given to him as a gift from the chiefs. He started the farming in the year 1879, and since then, we are having 2 of the original trees in the farm, still giving us cocoa pod, and it's 146 years now.
Wow.
So please, any questions so far?
How do cocoa grow?
Okay. So we have a pod like this. This is how it turns out. So this one is right. When we open this up, we have beans in there. The beans ranges from 1 to 55. So the bean is what you're going to plant, not the whole of this. We only plant one seed. You space it out and you make sure there will be a shading tree to give it shade, because cocoa doesn't like too much sun shining on them directly. So that's how we plant cocoa, and that's how they grow.
Wow.
Are you drying them, the little seeds that are inside?
Yes, after we harvest them like this, we need to do the fermentation process in the farm, and it takes a week, that is 7 days. Afterwards, we need to dry with direct sun. So depending on how the sun is scorching, roughly 2 to 3 weeks, the beans are dried out and they are ready to be sold out.
And then after the cocoa is done, you guys plant it, it's grown. Do you have a manufacturing plant that you guys can process things such as chocolate and so forth?
Yes, we have equipment that produce chocolate here in Ghana, but it's not many. So what's happening is most of our cocoa beans goes outside Ghana. It goes to mainly Switzerland and Belgium. But we also have a company here in Ghana that produces the chocolate.
Do you have the name of that company?
We have some of the King's Bite, the Golden Tree chocolate, which is produced here in Ghana. We have the 57, we have the Niche, we also have the Fair Afrique, a whole lot of chocolate. We have also Lesley producing Milo and other stuffs. Yeah.
And you all sell online? Do you sell online as well?
Yes, we sell.
Awesome. Do you have a website?
Definitely, we'll be having a website that they'll be selling those stuffs over there. Yeah. Like
Awesome.
the 57 like this, when you go online, you'll be able to get
Okay.
some. Yeah.
So are you, here at the farm, are you harvesting the cocoa, fermenting it, drying it, and then selling it?
Yes,
like
please.
in bags to Ghana?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We do everything here. Just that we are not in the season whereby we'll be having pots on this type of cocoa. We have varieties of cocoa in the world, but in Ghana we are basing on 3 main varieties. That is the hybrid, Amazonia, and the Amelinado. What happened is when Tetteh Quarshie came, he only brought one variety, that is the Amelinado. And before you start harvesting from the Amelinado plant, it's going to take you from 6.5 to 7 years. And farmers were complaining that the duration is too long. So research was done. And later on, they got 2 other varieties that will start bearing fruit after 18 months. So with that, that is what we have one here. So this one is the hybrid variety. So with the Amelinado, when you go to the farms in this particular season, you are not going to get cocoa pots. But with the hybrid and Amazonia, throughout the year, from January to December, you'll be having cocoa pots to do harvesting. And we harvest 3 times in a year.
Let's go back to the history. What motivated him to bring that, or what did he see? Do we have records that say that he saw the usefulness of cocoa? That's why he brought it to Ghana. And also, did he witness, in terms of the end product of cocoa before dying, or it was after he died that all this chocolate and all the stuff came to fruition?
Okay, so what happened is before Tetteh Quarshie introduced the cocoa, we already having cocoa here, but it wasn't known publicly. It was serving as an ornamental plant that was brought in by the British that came to Ghana. So we have a town here called Mampong-Akuapem. That is where they planted the cocoa. And what happened is Ghanaians were not getting access to it. So when Tetteh Quarshie was able to travel and he saw it there, he got to learn everything about the cocoa, the value of it and everything, because that was the work they were doing in Equatorial Guinea. So he learned everything out there, came here, brought it here, then he started the planting and everything. But what happened is, unfortunately, he didn't get to enjoy most of his hard work, because he made only 2 harvests and afterwards he passed. So what happened was he did the harvesting, fermentation, dried and sold out the beans. So in the olden days, they were into the black market trade. So we sold the beans to the foreign people. So it was later on that the chocolate and other products was discovered that we can produce them.
How long does it take for a cocoa seed to grow?
Depending on the variety, with this hybrid variety, it's going to take you roughly 18 months. But with the hybrid in Amazonia, roughly 4 to 5 years, you start harvesting from it. So when you put the seed in the soil, 3 weeks it germinates. Then for you to have a full-grown tree, that is when it's going to take you 5 years or 18 months, depending on the variety.
Is just the chocolate a market of who you sell to, or do you sell to other markets like medicine or?
Okay, though we get medicinal aspects from cocoa, we sell it basically because of the chocolate and yes, the milo and other stuff.
Do you know of the medicinal properties and how they take it as medicine here?
Yes, what happens is with the dried cocoa beans, when you take it raw, in its raw stage, it's classified as 100% dark chocolate, and it's good for those who are suffering from high blood pressure. Yes. So eventually, those who suffer from that kind of disease is being advised to going for dark chocolate.
So if you was to sell me a cocoa bean right now, and I want to chew that thing, how much would it cost?
With the amount of the beans, or
even if it's one.
we don't sell one.
Well, how do you sell them?
We sell in kilograms. In Ghana, we sell in kilograms. So we have a sack which weighs 65 kilos. That is what every cocoa farmer is supposed to put his or her cocoa beans in. Then we sell to the government. But if you want to purchase maybe 1 kilo for yourself, whereby you'll be able to use, you talk to the farmer, he or she agrees, he sells to you.
Okay.
Yes, that's how it's done.
So if I want to buy one today, I can get one?
Today? No, I'm not sure. But you'll be able to get a couple of them to try today.
Okay.
To get maybe a kilo or two to take away.
Yeah, well, just a little piece will help out.
Yeah. For that, you'll be able to get it today.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Tell them about the skin, the drying of the skin.
Yeah. When we get to the farm, everything will be done.
Okay.
The soap.
Yeah.
The soap side.
Soap?
Yeah, we get a lot of products out of cocoa, so everything will be taught to you in the farm.
Okay.
What other industries?
So if there is no question from now, we'll be taking a walk to the farm to continue.
Okay.
Okay, please, we can come closer. So we are here in the farm. We are here to learn 1 or 2 things before we get to see the original tree. So this is how our cocoa tree looks like. With cocoa, when it starts to produce, it starts with flowers. Right beneath the trunk of the tree, throughout the branches, every part, there will be a cocoa flower. So looking at this particular tree, you can see we have some white flowers all over. When the flower opens up, then the pod develops out of it very tiny. It grows into stages until we have a matured cocoa pod. So from the flowering plant to a matured cocoa pod, it's taking us 6 months, then 3 weeks for it to become yellow. So if a farmer is cultivating this type of cocoa, which is called the amelonado, he or she needs to wait for 7 years, 6 months, and 3 weeks to do the harvesting. But if it's that of the hybrid in Amazonia, roughly 18 months, you start harvesting. Now, when we talk of harvesting, when it's time for we to do the harvesting, we don't need to climb the tree, because the moment you climb the tree, you'll be damaging the flowers. So we have a tool in the farm, that is the stick and the sickle. That's what we use for the harvesting. If not, when you have a pod at a level like this, you can choose to use your hand by twisting it for a while, maybe 1 or 2 times, and it comes off. If not, it's not going to fall on itself. It will override and still remain on the tree, even die, turn from yellow to black, and still be on the tree. It's not going to fall down. Now, whenever you enter a cocoa farm, you're going to see that we have the farm mixed with other plants. So in this particular farm, we're having permanent and temporal plants here. The permanent plants are that of avocado trees, mango trees, orange trees, and they are serving as canopy to prevent the sun from shining directly onto the cocoa. The temporal plants that we have here is that of yam, cocoyam, plantain, banana, and pawpaw, and they are also serving as food to the farmer. Because while the farmer is waiting for the years and the season of the cocoa, he or she gets to feed on other plants. And the season of the cocoa starts from June and ends in middle of December. That is for the amelonado variety. So you're not seeing cocoa pods on the tree because we are not in the season. up until June, that is when we start with another harvest.
There's pods on the tree, but the big ones that
Yes.
are covering the tree
Yes.
is not on it.
What happened is we are in the season whereby flowers are going to develop. So if you look at it, you can see we have tiny ones only. Looking at this particular tree, you can see a whole lot of flowers on them. So up until June, that is when they are going to become mature.
Big ones up there. This one is a little teeny one.
Yes. So as we are entering the farm, you'll be noticing some plants like this. These are called cocoyam plants. The leaves are classified as spinach or calabasos. There is a tuber that goes beneath the soil. That is the cocoyam itself. It looks like potatoes, but they are not sweet like potato. So looking at it, this is serving as a whole meal in the farm. The farmers get to feed on them whilst they wait for the season of the cocoa. Yes, we are in the Harmattan season, so they are all not fresh. They are dried up and dated too.
Is there a particular ground, like say for instance the soil, does it have to be moist or
Yes.
dry, or how is
With the soil, it's supposed to be a loamy soil, which is very fertile, and also cocoa does well up in the hills.
okay?
Yes, it doesn't need areas whereby the land contains a lot of salt. So when you go to the northern region, upper west and upper east, we can't grow cocoa there because of the way the sun shines very hard. Also, some part of Greater Accra and then Volta region, we can't plant cocoa there because of the saltness of the sea. But any other place that you find yourself, you can plant cocoa in Ghana and it's going to survive. Yes. Yeah.
And oh yeah. So how often does it rain around here, and does the cocoa require a certain amount of rain?
Cocoa needs water, but not too much of water. And also what happens is with the rainy season, we are normally into rainy season in June, July. June, July, August, that is whereby the rain normally comes in heavy. So when it's time for us to do the harvesting, sometimes because of how the rain is raining, the water is flowing and everything, we can't be doing the drying and of the beans. So sometimes the beans become moody and they get to spoil. Because when you are going to sow your beans and they are moody, when you break it into two, you are going to see that there are some white particles inside, which means the beans are spoiled and we can't use them for the product. Yeah, so cocoa needs water, but not too much of water. So looking at the farm, we are having some certain trees, like the big trees here. They are all over the farm. They are called Grisidia syndromes. They are serving as mother of cocoa. They provide water. When it rains, it stores water. So whenever we enter into the drying season, then the plants actually serve the cocoa with water. That's what happened in the farm. Yeah.
And what percentage do you guys harvest, say for instance, on a good season, up to what, from 10 to 100%? What percentage you guys are harvesting?
Okay, this farm is not serving as a commercialized farm. This is a storage site, a research institute also. So the harvesting we do here is not as it is in a commercialized farm. Because sometimes some of the research institutes come in for some of the pot, maybe about 50 or 100 cocoa pots. Whenever we have visitors we get to harvest some of the pot, we do demonstrations with them, we give them some of them to taste. So subtracting all those pots from the total amount of pots we are going to use for the production, it will be less. So in total, the farm is 0.38 hectares, which is roughly 1 acre. So when we do everything here, the bags that we get is around 4 bags, which is 260 kilos. That's what we get here in the farm.
Awesome.
And it's quite okay for this size of the farm here. Because a lot of people are having bigger cocoa farms. So if you're looking for the biggest cocoa farm in Ghana, either you find it in Western region, Ashanti region, Mampong-Akuapem region, and also some parts of Eastern region. Though this is classified to be the first cocoa farm in Ghana.
Will you be showing us one of the first ones that was real?
Yeah, we have 2 of them in the farm here.
Okay.
So we're going to see them.
Awesome. Look at the birdies.
Which tree? We talking about this one?
This and this. So I'll explain so that you get to it. Yeah. Okay, so we are here. This is one of the original trees that was planted in the year 1879. We have another one down there with a signpost. So in this farm, these two trees are the oldest trees we are having. They don't look old, they don't look big. And it's because cocoa trees don't grow to become big like this tree here. This is a shading plant. But what happened is with the three varieties I made mention of, you're going to see the Amelonado growing really tall. The hybrid and Amazonia, you always see them to be very short. So that is a difference between the three varieties. When it comes to the tree itself, you're going to see we have 1, 2, 3, including this, 4. This one is having about 6 of them. What happened is with the Amelonado variety, when the plant is weak and is dying, another one shoots up to replace it. But unlike the hybrid and Amazonia, when it's 35 years, you cut the plants down because they are not going to produce again. They are only producing more when they are young. So after 35 years, you only have your tree with the flowers in the farm, but without cocoa pod. And no farmer will be giving a good maintenance to his or her crop without it bearing fruit. So the farmer will have to cut the plants down and plant new ones. But with this, we don't need to cut it. It's going to produce another one generationally. But looking through the farm, you see that the rest of the cocoa trees are standing single. And it tells that they are not up to the ages of these two trees to give out offshoots. And that is because they were planted in 1960, after Tetteh Quarshie died. After he died, the farm was abandoned. Encroachment came into the land and also the plants started to die off. But when the government took over, they realized that it's left with 2 trees. They took care of them, and when the fruits were ready, they did replant it. So most of the cocoa trees you are seeing out here were planted from these 2 trees in 1960. Yes. But these ones are offshoots of the main tree itself. So the main tree is dead, but they are all coming from the same seed. That is why we classify everything as 146 years. So if you look out here, you can see we have some black ones, the black pods. Yes, they are still hanging up there. Yes, they are dead. We can't use the beans for anything, but with the pot, we have a product that we get out of it. That is the soap, the black soap. That is what we call black soap.
Oh, from the blackened pods.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I'll show you the process when we get to the demonstration side. So please, do we have questions?
And nothing goes to waste.
Okay. Yes. Now in the world, a lot of countries are producing cocoa. When you come to West Africa, Ghana is leading in terms of producing quality cocoa beans, and Ivory Coast produces in terms of quantity. The reason why Ghana cocoa beans are classified to be quality is because of the process the beans pass through. That is the fermentation and also the natural sun drying. So right from here, we'll be taking a walk to where we are going to do the demonstration. We have an observation of it and also the chance to taste both the fresh and dried cocoa beans, if there is no question.
I'm using cocoa powder.
So we are here at the point where we do the fermentation and the drying process. So it's this process that is going to determine the quality of our cocoa beans. When we do the process, we bring out 3 things. That is, the first one is to change the white beans in this pot to become brown, get the taste and the aroma. So what we do is we first of all harvest the pod from the whole farm. We group them at a particular place, going for either plantain or banana leaves. Because they are broad, those are the leaves we use for the process. We lie the leaves on the ground, but this is just a demonstration. That's why I'm doing it up here. We take our ripe pod, then we strike it open. So this is how the beans are arranged in the pot. The beans in every cocoa pod ranges from 1 to 55, not more than 55 and not less than 1. And this also can be taken in as a fruit. It tastes like mango or soursop. So we are going to try. You take 1 or 2, you just suck on it. You don't chew, you don't bite. When you do that, it's bitter. So please, I'll go. Very sweet.
Tastes like a tropical juice.
Can take 2.
Oh man.
You can bite if you want to, but it's like
That's a really good taste to it. Wow.
Cocoa trees in my house.
My house. Is it? My house.
It tastes great.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it.
So some is here. If you can try and chew, we have a color inside the bean, which is purple. So you can bite into it and look at that color. But after we do the process, we are going to change that color to become dark brown. You've seen the color? Yes, that's the color in there. You can chew and swallow if it's not bitter for you. Okay, some people say it's bitter. Yeah. So some is here, you can still go and enjoy. So let's try this one too. Maybe we get the mango flavor from here.
Is this a different one?
It's the same variety, but maybe one will be sweeter than the other.
Oh, it's not good.
Yeah, I think this one is sweet.
more mango because it's white. It's not as ripe as that.
So which one is sweeter?
What is on there?
That one is, but it's got a nice little tang to it that I like.
Let me try out. Which one you like?
Yeah, it's got a little nice tang. Both of them good. The first one is sweet and good. Second one tastes sort of got that tang like a mango. I like
But
that.
if the skin was This off one's of it.
I like the seed better in the green.
That one.
This
You
one.
like the one?
The seed better.
So let me leave this one here for you to enjoy. Then I'll use this for the process.
Okay. Eat it.
So what we do is, after we open up the pod, we are supposed to bring all the beans out. But with this, the beans is almost finished. So let's use it like that. We'll have to cover up. Fermentation starts with darkness. So the moment we cover, fermentation begins. But during the fermentation, we don't allow air to go through the beans. Otherwise, they will start to germinate. Looking at the farm, you're not having space to plant new trees. So to prevent air from entering the beans, we put some sticks and stones around it to keep it airtight. So let's assume these are sticks and stones. Put them around. We leave it in the farm for 3 days. On the 3rd day, the farmer comes around. We have a placenta that keeps the beans together. And on the 3rd day, we need to separate the beans from the placenta. It's very much easy to be removed on the 3rd day. So this is our cocoa placenta.
Oh wow.
After taking this off, we need to put the beans back together in a heap form. If we are to harvest the whole farm, we are going to get a heap of this. We cover again with our sticks and stones. Leave it for another 2 days, making 5 days. Now on the 5th day, the farmer will start seeing some changes. He or she is going to see that the surface of the beans has turned from white to brown. But because it's in a heap, when you go in beneath about 4 inches, that place is zero fermented. So you need to mix the beans up. We mix it up for about 10 to 15 minutes, put them back together, cover again for the last 2 days. So the process goes like 3, 2, 2, making 7. And on the 7th day, everything will totally change to become brown. But they are still wet and we need to dry them. And in Ghana, we only use direct sunlight in drying of the cocoa beans. And this is the mat we use for the drying. It's made out of a raffia tree. They've tied it with this rope in such a way that when it's about to rain, you can easily roll the mat up. Put either rubber or roofing sheet on it to prevent the beans from becoming wet. Because whenever they are wet, you're going to lose your price at the market. So depending on how the sun is scorching, roughly 2 to 3 weeks, this is your end product. This is what we are going to sell to the market. In the farm, everything is done manually. But when the beans get to the factory, machines are going to be applied to it. That is, we have some hacks on the bean. When they are really dry and you crumple it, the hacks will be coming off. If not, you have to take the hacks off with the machine. Afterwards, we are going to get the cocoa nib. That is what they grind into powder. Mix it with sugar, add any additive to it to bring out the end product. And this is also classified as 100% dark chocolate. So I hope we all love chocolate. Is it the milk chocolate or the dark chocolate?
I like
All
dark
of the chocolate, all of the
both
chocolate.
dark chocolate. Yep.
All of
Dark
it.
chocolate. Okay. So we are going to try. What we are going to do is we first of all break the bean into two. We smell it to see if it does smells like chocolate. Afterwards, you can chew everything. You check out for the color in there if it's dark brown. If it's dark brown, you can chew. If it's purple, please come in for a different one. Some are not really dried. Did you get a taste?
Oh, yeah.
Do you get a smell too?
I love it.
Thank you.
I love the more nutty flavor.
I'm looking at you guys. Real chocolate strong.
Wow.
This is 100%. So this is what is good for your high blood pressure. So when you take
I could
this,
have some of that.
it's going to boost your immune system also.
Boost your immune.
Yes, boost your immune system. Now, in cocoa farming, everything is useful. There is nothing being wasted.
Okay.
So what happens is with the fresh pod here, after we take the beans out of it, we give it to animals like goats, cow, pig, and sheep. They love to feed on it. When we leave them in the farm and they decompose, they come in as organic fertilizer. But the moment they dry up, they turn out to become black like this. Please, have you all gotten some? Oh, okay. They turn out to become black like this. And with the black pod, that is what we use in preparation of our local black soap for bathing. So what happens is if you want to prepare the black soap, you need to get a whole lot of this, which is well dried. You burn them well into ashes. Collect the ashes and add water to it. Afterwards, you sieve it, set it on fire. You add either palm oil or palm kernel to it. A little amount of caustic soda to be added. You stir it until it becomes very thick. You shape it in any shape you want. You have your soap for bathing, which is good for the skin, for skin rashes, for washing of the hair too. It smoothens the skin also.
I have some at home.
Okay. Also, we get the pomade, the cocoa butter we use on our skin. They turn this into oil. When you set them on fire, it melts into becoming oil. They extract oil from the powdered cocoa, the dried ones that they've grounded. Add it to this, add additives to it to bring out the cocoa butter we use on our skin. We also get alcoholic beverages like cocoa liqueur, cocoa gin, cocoa wine, and also cocoa brandy. And that comes out from the juice around the seed, the ones you sucked. That is what goes through another process before we get the alcoholic beverages. So we get about 45%, 75% alcohol coming from cocoa. So looking at it, we don't waste anything. Everything is useful. The tree itself serves as firewood when it dies, and also the dry leaves on the floor, they are also medicinal. When you pick them up, wash it well, you boil them with that of lime and ginger, you add that of mango leaves to it, you drink it, it detoxifies your body. So nothing goes to waste in a cocoa farm.
Mercy.
Everything is useful. So please, any questions so far?
Cause I'm just overwhelmed with the wealth of knowledge I'm getting today.
Yeah.
We would have never known this in the United States.
Never. Wow.
All we see is the finished product, Hershey's and Kit Kat and Snickers.
Yeah.
Are they looking to have more cocoa production companies here in Ghana? Because it's a shame that we're sending our product to places like Belgium, which was so cruel to us in history.
Way back last year, we had some news from the president that he's going to try so that we are able to keep about 50% here in the country, so that 50 also goes outside, because the income we get from there is much big higher than that of what we get from here. So what happened is with the equipment that is going to be used for the production, that is not enough. That is why we are not able to produce more here in the country. Yeah, so only 40% remains here.
The
for
demand.
Yes.
It has to be addictive. That's why there's so much. A chocolate is addictive.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what I did the other night, but it's addictive.
Yeah, what kind of labor like that? I mean, you know, I think I will be going up on prices.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened is with the bag, the sack that weighs 65 kilos, when we sell, the farmers, what they get is around $210. Yeah, for now, which is
Cedis or US dollars?
US dollars. So in Ghana cedis, it's 3,100 Ghana cedis.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the chief that is working, that came to help my brother, he has a cocoa farm in Sunyani. So he says if he gets 10 bags, he gets about 3,000. Yeah.
Wow, awesome.
One bag is that of the 3,000. Let's take like 3,000. So times the 10. So if you have a big cocoa farm, imagine what you are getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of equipment you think you would need to get out here and you guys can really produce a lot, you know? I mean, how much would it cost if you guys get equipment?
With that, I can't say, but in this community, we have about 5 kilometers from here, we have about 2 acres.
Okay.
2 acres of land which contain that of the hybrid and then the Amazonia. That farm was actually bought by the government. So that is an extension of this farm down there. So they tried to set up a chocolate factory there, but it got to the roofing stage. They were not able to complete it. So if we are able to even get the place set up, the chocolate, the beans that we get out from this particular side won't be going to Accra. It will be manufactured here in this community.
Nice.
So that every chocolate will also be coming from it, not only from Accra. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.